Since the 1980s or before, we've talked about the mind-body connection. It became a huge buzzword in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and it's kind of slipped away a little bit. But I want to give an example today of how powerful that mind-body connection is when we use it correctly. Too many times people will go through life and not realize that they have this immense ability to help their own body heal, to help their own mind heal. And I want to give an example of what happened with a client of mine recently when I explained to him an option that he had when he was having problems with his digestive system. His stomach was upset on a regular basis. I'll tell you what we did. I'll tell you the end result. It's so freaking amazing. It's an example of how powerful the mind-body connection is. You're tuned in to David Essel Live, helping Americans and the world to heal. For 35 years, a top podcast, radio host, TV host, you name it, we do it all. And I love it. I absolutely love it. Feel free to share these videos. Get this information out there. The world is hurting. We need things like this. We need tools to help us get through these outrageously stressful times. So the mind-body connection became popular when we started to realize that sometimes thoughts could create migraine headaches. I know that sounds crazy, but Joan Borysenko, Dr. Joan Borysenko in the 80s wrote an amazing book about the mind-body connection with her own migraines that were created by her own thought system, right? So the mind-body connection is amazing. You have people that have really optimistic views on life and they take care of their bodies. Well, their mind-body connection is beautiful. And then we have the rest of the world. But let me tell you what happened to this client. So there's this gentleman who takes good care of himself. He eats really clean, exercises on a regular basis, does some meditation, very much into his religion, goes several times a week to his services. But he was having this discomfort in his stomach. And he couldn't figure out what it was. And we went through his diet. We went through everything. And finally, we realized that it had to be something stress-related. It wasn't a contraindication from a medication he was on. It wasn't certain foods he was eating. He wasn't eating late at night. But what happened was when he would go to bed at night, 2 to 3 days a week, all of a sudden his stomach would just start bothering him. And we went back and looked at the food diary for days before. He doesn't drink alcohol, so it wasn't that. And I said to him one day, I said, listen, the power of touch is incredible. The healing power of touch. I mean, nurses use therapeutic touch all the time in hospitals, right? And then we have Reiki and we have all these other things. But Reiki, of course, doesn't touch the body. But therapeutic touch can come very close to the body. And then the next thing we have is actual touch, hands-on healing. We've heard about it for years, centuries it's been around. But what about our own hands on our own body to help heal ourselves? So as I explained to him, the process that we use with certain people like him in this situation is that we want to create this opportunity. I talk about opening the crown chakra, the top of the head, calling upon the light of God or Jesus or universal energy or whatever words you want to use, right? And I call upon that, and then I ask that energy, that light, that beautiful light to come through my hand into the area of my body or a client's body. I ask them to do the same thing that's bothering them. Well, at first, he said, oh, this is crazy, David. There's no way in the world that I can help heal my own body. And I said, well, let's give it a shot. I said, listen, do it for 7 straight days. If at the end of 7 days you don't feel a thing, then we'll just drop it. So he did. And it happened about 2 nights later after our session that some reason, 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, he's trying to go to sleep and his stomach is bothering him. And he goes, why don't I just give what David told me a shot? So he opened his mind. Instead of opening the crown chakra, he said, I just opened my mind and I called upon God and the angels and anyone else around that could come through my hand, and I put my hand on my stomach. And then I asked my body and my mind to become one and to heal whatever's going on in my stomach. And he said, David, I left it on for 20 minutes. He said, I didn't feel anything. And he said, I figured I'd leave it on for 30. And he said, it was about at the 25-minute mark. All of a sudden, I felt this calmness in my stomach. He said, I'm looking around going, is that real or not? And so he waited until the 30 minutes. He took his hand off. The discomfort didn't come back. 3 or 4 nights later, it comes back again. He goes through the same exercise, and the same thing happened. And he says to me, what's going on here? And I said, I'm going to be honest with you. All I know is that it works more often than it doesn't. I don't know the scientific reason why that could work, but I do know that there's a spiritual reason that it could work. Calling upon a higher power, asking for guidance, asking for healing is something the masters have done since the beginning of time. Listen, give it a shot. Give it a shot for a week. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to cure cancer or anything else or heart disease or anything like that, but if we have tools like this proving that the mind-body connection is more solid than we can ever know, why not give it a shot? It costs nothing, and the end result could be absolutely stunning, just for like it was for my client. Hey, if I can help you at all, go to talkdavid.com. We've got 4 books there, absolutely free. You can work with me for 20 minutes at no charge. And of course, we have programs if you want to do something ongoing. Okay, until I see you again, have a beautiful day. Share these videos. Let people know that there's help out there. Okay, talk to you soon. I'm David Essel.